last case of John Morley. Demo. The last day in the hospital, the piercing light of the morning sun stirred John from his restless sleep. For months, strange nightmares had plagued him, and even the strongest sedatives couldn't dull the weird visions that haunted his mind. Another day in this wretched hospital. His wounds still ached, but he felt no regret. Despite the accident, he brought the culprit of those ghastly crimes to justice. After all, isn't that the duty of any good private detective?
The name's John Morley, private detective, and today is a momentous day. After enduring the most exquisite tortures at the hands of those blasted nurses, and being pumped full of enough medicine to fell an ox, today I'm finally free.
Freedom!
Who would have thought that the case of the Red Shoes murder would end the way it did? A stormy night, soaked to the skin, wrestling that brainless killer on a rooftop. Then a slip and a 5-story plunge.
It appears you're awake at last. We had considerable difficulty rousing you earlier this morning, so I deemed it best to let you rest a while longer. I bring you good news. The latest test results are favourable, and the doctor has authorised your discharge. You are now officially ready to go. I have placed your belongings on the table. Oh, and a lady stopped by this morning with some clothes from the dry cleaner.
Okay,
I've been having
nightmares.
nightmares.
The doctor has prescribed some medication that should help address any residual effects. This should assist in alleviating your nightmares.
A woman brought my clothes from the dry cleaner. Was it Penny?
I couldn't say. She arrived quite early, before my shift began. I've placed the garments in the wardrobe to keep them from getting wrinkled.
My belongings? I thought everything was already in the room.
There are a few valuables and some coins we kept for safekeeping. They are in the box on the table.
So I'm better now.
Yes, you are much improved. Both your physical and psychological assessments have been satisfactory, and there are no impediments to your returning to your normal life. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have other patients to attend to. I wish you all the best.
New key clue unlocked. Open the case files to view character information and clues.
Story of my life. Nearly broke. That's me, the bloodhound Morley.
John Morley, private detective, 26B. 26B. What was Sherlock? 21B? Baker Street? Possibly. And who lived at the 21A? It was his housekeeper, Mrs. I can't remember her name. Medical discharge, patient copy. 1945. Post-operative following surgical intervention on the prefrontal cortex and subsequent recovery. Patient's physical and psychological evaluations have returned satisfactory results. No impairments have been identified that would inhibit the patient from resuming normal daily activities. The following medications have been prescribed to manage potential residual symptoms. Chlorpromazine. The patient is advised to adhere to the dosage instructions provided and to attend any scheduled follow-up appointments. Dr. A. Fauna, St. Dimphnis Hospital. I don't know what that name is. I mean, it could be one of those Irish names that sound nothing like they're written.
Blimey, it's nearly noon. I must have lost track of time. I better get dressed. The hospital gown that ties in the... I usually use the Windsor knot. So the mystery woman who took my clothes to the cleaners was Penny after all.
Penny Robinson.
Seems she's still got a soft spot for me. Could there be a chance I might win her over? These do a fine job of hiding any belly. Can't complain about that.
How do I put... There we go.
Looks brand new. The collar's pristine.
How many jackets has he got?
I should get myself... Well-structured shoulders, nicely padded. Gives off an air of authority. Keeps the crooks. There's notes from Penny, my secretary.
John...
She must have left it here a
Is he
few
going to
days
read it
ago
for me?
while I was still under observation.
Of course he isn't. John, I'm awfully sorry, but I can't keep going like this. You've been laid up in that hospital for ages, and I've been left skint. With no wages coming in for months now. Before, with the state you were in, I couldn't bring myself to say anything. I thought it best to let you get better in peace, but the other day, Dr. Fauna rang and said they were finally going to let you out, so I figured it was time to tell you. I haven't been in the office in a month. And believe me, I'll miss Hawthorne Street and that old mouldy brick building of ours. But I've got to move on, and you know, even before the accident, you still owed me 3 months' pay. Peter and I are planning to get married, and I need some stability. I hope you understand, I left my key under the doormat. I paid the water and electric bills, so those are in your hands now. Goodbye, John, I wish you all the luck in the world. P.S. A few days ago, an older woman came by asking for you. I told her you might be back at the office this afternoon. She seemed quite eager to have a word with you. Penny. I don't think you're going to win her back.
Damn it, Penny. I don't blame her, though. I'm a right mess. I've managed to lose the only 2 things that kept me grounded. Her sound advice, always spot on, and the faint hope that she might dump Peter and give me a chance.
I read that already, I have.
Blimey, what a fool I took onto that rain-soaked pavement. And to top it off, with that downpour, I ruined my best suit. But, well, that's all water under the bridge now, quite literally.
Yeah, so that's basically the same thing as the other piece of paper said.
I'm not ready to leave just yet.
Why? What am I missing?
Trench coat and fedora hat. Every detective's must have. I'd better hurry up. Just like Penny says in her note, I might have a new client this afternoon. And with the way things are going, I can't afford to let that slip away.
I thought you had some of my coins.
All right, let's get moving. Today's the first day of the rest of my life.
John Morley's office. At last, back to the streets and the cold comforts of foggy old London. The chimneys fill the air with the familiar tang of coal dust, while the rhythmic hum of the small industries in Whitechapel, Stepney and Southwark rang in his ears like a symphony. Soon he'd be seated in his cluttered, dusty office once more, ready for the next case, perhaps finishing off some forgotten bottle of whiskey tucked away in a drawer, and mourning the irreplaceable loss of his assistant, Penny.
Back again. Feels like stepping into a forgotten paradise. Everything's got that same old charm, and yet feels oddly new. This hospital stint's given me a bit of a new outlook. Maybe I'll take it a shade easier from now on, sticking to cases that don't demand a trip to the morgue.
Was it 221B Baker Street? I don't know why that just came back into my head. This is my... Oh yeah, key under the mat. Okay.
Here they are. Penny's keys. Just like it says in her note.
Why is the door open outwards?
This case is worth its weight in gold. Everything you need for a portable lab. This one's a favorite. The jealous lover solved everything with a few blows from an ashtray. Brutal, but effective. Penny's desk. I ought to give her a ring and try to sweet-talk her into coming back. If this new client brings in some decent dough, maybe I could settle what I owe her and use a little charm to win her over.
Let her go.
So this is Peter. That smug grin's got "Punch Me" written all over it. The murder weapon from the cadaver collector case. Nasty business, that one. My desk, strangely tidy. Normally it's buried under papers, notes, bits of evidence. Penny must have wanted to leave everything spick and span before... well, even the coppers missed it. Just another one of my cards. But this one has my last name circled.
Okay.
My files. Cases, clients, debts. Too many debts. Far too many. The umbrella with a bullet hole. Souvenir from the marksman case. Nearly lost my hat on that one.
Okay. Not sure what I meant to do there. Yeah, I'm gonna write that on there in a second, but I don't know.
The drawer. It's locked. But there doesn't seem to be a keyhole.
Oh, that worked apparently.
The Scarlet Page. I trust Penny didn't go snooping through my things while I was away. Oh, my apologies, madam. I didn't hear you come in. I was a bit distracted.
You creepy old wench.
Good afternoon, Mr. Morley. I trust your assistant informed you of my visit as promised.
My apologies. I was rather engrossed and didn't notice your arrival. To whom do I owe the honor of this meeting?
Lady Margarette Fordside, the 4th Countess of Bloomsbury.
Lady Margaret, could you tell me what brings you here today? How can I assist you?
I shall endeavor to be as candid as possible. 20 years ago, when my daughter was just 18, she was brutally murdered. It happened at our family estate, Bloomsbury Manor. Someone slipped into the house unnoticed, and upon reaching her room, delivered 5 fatal stab wounds to her chest, lungs, and heart. The police, eager to close the case, hastily blamed and condemned 2 violent thieves who clearly had nothing to do with her death. The investigation was closed, and justice was never served. I am prepared to offer you £30,000 if you take on this case, and a further £30,000 if you can solve it and bring the true killer to light. Tell me, Mr. Morley, will you accept this case?
I understand your distress, Lady Fordside. But before I commit to anything, might I trouble you with a few questions?
By all means, Mr. Morley. Ask whatever you must.
Tell me, were there any witnesses? Did anyone see or hear anything?
It happened at midnight. The house was practically empty at the time, with only a few servants and a guest who was sleeping in the west wing. I was the only one who might have heard something, as my room was next to hers. Unfortunately, I had taken a sleeping draught and fell into a deep slumber. It is a decision I shall regret for the rest of my days.
Interesting.
Tell me about the men the police arrested. Why are you so certain they weren't guilty?
2 days after the murder, the police arrested a pair of violent thieves who were terrorizing the county at the time. Though they swore their innocence in my daughter Elodie's death, their criminal record completely undermined their defense. Seizing the opportunity, the police locked them away for their other crimes, and the case was closed. But what has always struck me as suspicious is that nothing was stolen on the night my Elodie was killed. If those thieves were truly the culprits, why would they murder her and then leave without taking a single piece of silver? It doesn't add up, Mr. Morley.
But tell me about Bloomsbury Manor. Do you still reside there?
After Elodie's death, I abandoned the estate. I couldn't bear to remain there, to live within those walls. Even now, when I visit the manor, it still feels as though I can hear her footsteps echoing through the halls, her voice humming that old melody, the delusions of an old woman who has mourned her daughter for far too long, Mr. Morley. No mother should ever have to bury her child. Should you accept the case, Bloomsbury Manor would likely be the best place to begin the investigation. I shall not impede your work, as I now reside at Bedford Square, in the heart of the city.
Well, if it's haunted, the price has to go up.
A case that's been cold for 20 years. You certainly don't make it easy for me, Lady Margaret. What made you decide to seek out a detective now?
For over 2 decades, I've fought tirelessly to have the case reopened, to prove that the real murderer escaped justice. But all in vain. Neither solicitors nor well-meaning police friends, nor even journalists hungry for a dark story have managed to uncover anything. Then one day, I read about your success in solving the case of the Red Shoes killer. Regrettably, I also learned of the unfortunate incident that left you hospitalized with grievous injuries. On the advice of your secretary, Miss Penny, I waited patiently for your recovery. And now, here I am.
Well, I believe I have all the information I need to get started. I accept the case, and will begin the investigation immediately.
I'm pleased to hear that. My butler will bring you the £30,000 tomorrow morning. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have matters to attend to. Once you uncover the culprit, contact me at once, and I shall promptly deliver the remaining £30,000. Please, Mr. Morley, unravel this harrowing mystery that has tormented me for so long.
I thought it was 30 grand. But now she's saying 30 tomorrow and 30 when you've done it. So the visit from Count Margaret. See, I've noticed a couple of spelling mistakes in the subtitles and things. Because it said Margaret, but it was spelled Margareth. And then the house there says Journey to Bloomsbury Manor, but it was spelled Bloomsbury. So anyway, the visit from Countess Margarette Fordside was just what John needed. A case with all the right ingredients that stir his detective's instincts. An unsolved murder from 20 years ago, abandoned by the police in their incompetence, and a generous reward waiting at the end. What more could a man want on his first day back? The journey to Bloomsbury Manor passed without incident, though the rough, neglected road, ravaged by years of rain and wind, made for an uncomfortable ride. He arrived under the cover of night. The place was quiet, like the ruins of an old tomb, forgotten and forsaken.
As I made my way through the dense forest path, a haunting silence enveloped the air. It was as though the very night of the crime still lingered here, shrouded in an eerie calm. The manor stood before me, its facade as inscrutable as the shadows that danced in the moonlight. Every step I took felt like a step deeper into the heart of a mystery that refused to be forgotten.
Creepy. You're telling me nobody lives here?
Not a sound. The stillness feels heavy, like it's hiding something.
Westland Asylum, a place of hope and healing. At Westland Asylum, we believe that the path to recovery begins with compassion, understanding the most advanced techniques of mental health care, like shock therapy and lobotomies, most likely. Our institution offers a tranquil haven for those seeking respite. Or respite, however you want to fucking say it. From the trials of the mind. Good to know. Why does it sound like everything's falling
This
apart?
painting, it's rather grim. There's something deeply unsettling about it. Almost like it carries a shadow of its own.
Westland Society of Fine Arts, your ladyship, I write to you on behalf of blah 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 blah. Display features several works, so she was an artist. Several works by your daughter, Miss Lady Fordside. While we fully appreciate the remarkable talent and artistry evident in her work, it is with a great regret that we must inform you of matter of concern. Several of the Society's patrons, particularly among the more sensitive members of the community, have found Miss Fordyce's paintings to be of a highly disturbing nature. We have received numerous complaints, with mothers remarking that the artwork has caused distress to their children, to some ladies reporting feelings of unease. There is a growing sentiment that the pieces are unsuitable for public exhibition, particularly in a space frequented by young and impressionable minds. It is with utmost respect and consideration that we kindly request your ladyship to arrange the removal of the paintings. Understand this may cause disappointment, but we feel it is necessary to preserve the decorum and sensibilities of our gallery's visitors. We would be honoured to work with you in finding more appropriate venues to exhibit Miss Fordyce's art, where her unique vision can be appreciated by a more discerning and prepared audience. We trust you understand the position, blah de blah de blah.
It seems Elodie had a passion for art, but her style wasn't exactly well received. Disturbing from the looks of it. A blue moon, fitting for a place haunted by its own secrets.
Just don't use the H word. Well, that's definitely some kind of puzzle, isn't it? Follow the trail of green lights to investigate past events. My lady, I will kindly ask that once the midday service is complete, you grant me a few moments of your time in the library. Joan Merver, your housekeeper.
So, the housekeeper left a note for the countess, asking her to meet here on the day of the murder. I wonder what truly happened during that encounter. Very well. Let's piece the events together, step by step. A globe resting in a beautiful wooden stand. 2 chairs. One of them knocked over.
Spilt cup of tea.
The housekeeper's cup is still here.
Travesty.
Tea spilled across the table. She never got to drink it. Looks like someone arranged tea in the library that day. Lipstick stains. Same shade the countess wore when she visited my office.
So she's been wearing the same shade of lipstick for 20 years.
An empty envelope. Did the housekeeper hand the countess a letter? It seems they met here. But something went wrong during the conversation.
I am very angry. After all these years of service, this is how you repay me? Walking away like this?
I'm sorry, madam, but the situation has become unbearable. My bags are already packed.
Do they have to look at each other, maybe? I'm sure they were at some point. I'll check that suitcase.
The countess threw the housekeeper out in a fit of rage. In her haste, the housekeeper forgot one of her bags. What was it that unsettled the housekeeper enough to abandon her post so suddenly?
And why did she never come back for a bag?
Lady Fordside, still seething, burned something in the fireplace.
Was that always there?
Looks like the countess left this for me. It could be useful for getting around the place. The lock has been concealed. But this door must open by some other means. Another painting by Elodie. There's something deeply disturbing about her work. The Fordside family crest. A rampant dragon. A time-honoured symbol across European heraldry. Particularly among the English and the Welsh.
Okay. Why do these all rotate and what's the point? They have to look at each other? Like that? This door was locked.
The door's chained up with a padlock. Looks like I'll need to find the key. It seems Lord Fordside was a renowned sculptor, though his works were somewhat sinister.
Okay, so he made it. Oh, there's another one here, look. He's not really looking at her, but well. No. I mean, I thought I've read this, haven't I? Yeah. It's a half. Right, so how do I get this door to open? Oh,
Looks like
right.
this is the Fordside family book, showing some of their ancestors.
An astronomer, a romantic who saw the stars. Okay. In 1842, during an eclipse, he swore that the diamond ring around the moon was the spirit of his wife Eleanor, who had died giving birth. From that moment on, his telescope never ceased to aim at the sun, seeking to capture that eternal moment. Right, so let's have a look for it. Is that him? That looks like him, doesn't it? He can't... I don't think he can turn enough to look at the telescope. Maybe he can. Can you see the telescope from there? That's not him, is it? He's looking at his telescope, I suppose. Kinda. So, shrapnel scar on her cheek. This is Lady Eleanor Fordside. Shrapnel scar on her cheek, hands hardened by the iron and mud of balaclava. Amid the roar of the Crimean cannons, the silver medical kit, now stained with gunpowder and memory, held not only wounds but the hidden truth behind the colonel's death. They say she swore to protect that secret, and the oath still lingers to this day. Medical kit. So... is that a scar on his face? Could be. I don't know what she'd be looking at though. I have no idea what's going on, to be totally honest. Old man, prominent nose and wandering soul, whose steps traced paths where only blank maps had once lain. Cartographer to Queen Victoria, he devoted his life to naming the unnameable. Jungles that swallowed expeditions, rivers that erased borders, and villages whose names only he remembered. His globe, now cracked by time and salt of 1,000 seas, by time and the salt of 1,000 seas, bears between its meridians the scars of a man who preferred to get lost rather than return. Right, so what's it doing? I wanna leave this. Right, so he wants to be looking at his globe, I'm guessing, which is there. We're not sure about her. And the other one, a pianist with ethereal hands and a drowned heart. After losing her beloved in the wreck of the SS Meridian, her nocturnes became unnamed requiems. Final composition, Elegy in Blue, rests on the ebony music stand in the library. Its note sketches weaves that never kiss the shore, and its pauses echo the silence of a ring never given. So she wants to look at a piano or the music stand. That's her, isn't it? Right, where's this music stand? there. I'm only guessing this is what I need to do. I have no idea, to be honest. It won't let me go one way or the other. I seem to have to go all the way to the end. She's looking at that, and now it's just this one. Medical stuff. We'll just try her in every position then, shall we? But no, it might
This
just...
must have been some sort of private study for the
Yes,
countess.
yes, okay. There we go. I figured it out.
Lady Margaret and a young woman. I suppose it's Elodie. They look happy. It was undoubtedly a better time. Elodie was committed to a psychiatric facility, but she supposedly recovered from whatever ailed her.
Lady Margarette Fordside, I am writing to you as the attending physician of Ward 2 to provide an update on your daughter Elodie's progress. It is a great pleasure that I report her notable improvement. Elodie now confides that she no longer experiences dark thoughts. Most importantly, the nightmares have subsided, and she has begun to communicate more amicably with her fellow patients, a crucial step in her recovery. Elodie has also asked me to relay a request. She would like you to bring her amber necklace when you visit her this Sunday. I will continue to keep you informed of the progress. Dr. Mulder. Okay, so, but she had nightmares, and it just so happens that we're having nightmares too. I don't want that, I want this. No?
This looks like the key to the main hall. Could be my way into the heart of the house.
I want this. It's very spooky in here. I don't like it. Who has a tree in the middle of the house?
That cold, old house had begun to give up its secrets. For a fleeting moment, I thought I heard the voice of a young woman, softly humming a tune. And then it hit me, clear as a gunshot in the dark. A ghost from the past was ready to speak. A tale of love and dread. A mystery begging to be solved.
Thanks for playing our demo. We'd really appreciate you taking the time to try it out. Your feedback and support help us keep improving. If you enjoyed the experience, we'd love a quick comment or wish list. It genuinely makes a difference for our small team. Well, yeah, it's a bit spooky for me, to be totally honest, but I mean, it doesn't say it's any kind of horror, so it might be worth a play. All I say is that the subtitles, if you call them that, to do with the spell check. I mean, I'm using a controller, so maybe some of the interaction things would be better with the mouse and keyboard, so I can't really comment on that. But yes, I mean, it's interesting. You gotta love a detective story. So, yeah. And if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Don't like to ask, but, you know, it does help. Even just leave a like if you can. It won't hurt. But yeah, thanks for watching.